Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. This is an exclusive video for the Web3 Secret Society, so they're going to get it a little earlier than you guys, but that's just one of the ways that I'm going to keep giving back to our community. Now, if you're not part of this, and let's say you're watching this after the fact and you want to get to join the Web3 Secret Society, you can definitely do that by checking the link below, join the Patreon, and actually find a way to earn money farming airdrops. A lot of the stuff you're going to hear is a ton of nonsense, and you need strategy, guidance, and support to make sure that you're maximizing on this market. Really think it's worth the price? Join the 200 or so other people who have agreed with that as well. Now, in this video, we're going to focus on whales market, and I'm going to talk to you about one, how to use this tool, and number two, when to use this tool and how this can be in your sort of toolbox of decision making that will allow you to make some money in an ever so volatile market. So let's get into it, but just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Now, this video is somewhat timely because this morning the Drift token launched, and unsurprisingly, you see this massive red wick candle. And with this massive red wick candle, we saw this entire token bleed out. It's just keep bleeding out. The reality is most of these airdrop tokens, they're not being held. And the reason for that is people have realized it's like 30 tokens are coming out every month from actual real protocols, and no one has the money to have all of them, and they're all just trending towards zero. They're all like somewhat vaporware, and that's only because we don't have the liquidity to support it. A lot of the buying power that's going into Bitcoin, Ethereum is happening due to assumptions around ETFs and institutions. And Solana is doing well because of the meme coin market, but every other altcoin, for the most part, it's been pretty depressing to check this out. If you look at it, they're all not really breaking through. They're all sitting at the bear market levels for the most part, with the exception of a few like Avalanche. Now, what if you could sell your token at the jump, right? The number one thing we've realized over the last maybe month or so in airdrops is you are way better off selling your tokens on launch day and right when the launch happens than waiting 5 minutes, then waiting half an hour, then waiting 5 hours, for waiting a few days. They just bleed out and they lose 80+% of their value most of the time. Now imagine there was a protocol that you could actually go to deal with that early on. And this is one of a few escrow markets, and this one is called Whales Market. You'll see here I'm recommending you use Whales Pro. It's their latest version. I think their features are a lot better, way easier UI. If you want to check it out, I have my referral code in the description. But I'm very confident in this tool, so if you don't want to use my referral code, just delete the code and just hit the enter button and sign up. I really think it's worthwhile. Now, when you go to Whales Market, what I want you to understand is this is an escrow market, which means that it sort of has implied trust through contracts. Because probably the biggest objections I get to it are, why do I got to put up liquidity? We're going to address all of that in this video. Now, if you go check this out, you can see here you got markets, so you can go in here and usually trade stuff in the markets. If you go to pre-market, you can see things that have either just launched or haven't launched yet. Good case in point is Eigenlayer. We'll talk about that token very soon. You can also look at points programs. This one is a little more complicated because obviously, like, how are you trading points? I've actually not seen how all of this works completely. If you go here, they have more of a description about how the points market works, because there's speculation around the value. But that's not the purpose of this. I typically stay away from that because it's really hard to get an accurate indicator of what this is worth, and they're typically undervalued versus overvalued. You can also go to runes, and this was actually way more beneficial. I guess it's not loading right now, but when you check out the runes, oh, here it is. It's not available on Pro Whale, but you could actually go and sell the runes as well. Now, if you go to pre-market, let's just take a look at Eigenlayer, because Eigenlayer is something that's going to be coming up somewhat shortly. I don't know why the navigation just screwed up. There you go. So Eigenlayer is a token that none of us have yet, or we do, but we can't trade it. Now, what happens is the market is pricing Eigenlayer between a bunch of buys and a bunch of sells. So the left side is people wanting to sell their token. So they're willing to sell you their Eigenlayer token for $7.25 each. They got 272. The fill type is partial. What that means is they don't need one person to fulfill the trade completely. They just need it to add up to 2,000. If you click on this, it'll give you an indicator of how much has been filled so far. In this case, you can buy up to 231, which means 41 has already been sold or allocated. Now, you can go ahead and do all of that for this. So this is for selling, right? So if you go here and you're clicking the button, you are buying. I don't know why it's not zooming in. There you go. Then you are trying to buy by doing this, okay? Conversely, and sort of strategically, you don't want to be the person buying these tokens. You want to be the person selling these tokens. So what you do here is you look and you can actually price. 688 is the current highest offer. They're willing to buy 220 tokens. You click the button here and you are able to sell up to 120 tokens, which means 100 tokens have already been filled into this. Now, one thing I do want to point out is it's not as simple as just saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. If any of you have used Craigslist or any other sort of non-trustless protocols where you just have a verbal agreement, well, may I ask, what would happen if the price changes? How do they ensure that the deal still happens? So let's use Ethereum as an example. Let's say you and I made a deal that I would sell you one Ethereum at $3,000. We shook on it. We agreed on Whale's Market. No money was swapped, nothing. We're like, yeah, we'll do it. Next week, it goes to $4,000. How many people are actually going to give you that Ethereum at $4,000? Sorry, how many people are going to buy that Ethereum off you at $3,000 still? Sorry, what am I saying? How many people are still going to give you that Ethereum for $3,000? They won't. They'll say, hey, I want $4,000 because that's what it's worth. Because conversely, if Ethereum went down to $2,000, would you still pay them $3,000 when you can get it on the market for $2,000? No. Unless like you obviously are really good friends in person and you shook on it, you made a deal and you said, hey, regardless of what happens, we'll do it. But that trust does not exist in crypto. So in escrow markets, they have to sort of measure it with some liquidity as an almost insurance plan. So that's why you'll see whatever you do in Whale's Market, if I go ahead and say I want to sell one token, I've got to also provide $6.88. And the token collateral is in the amount that they're asking for. So they're asking for payment in USDC. So that's what it's got to be. If they ask for in Tether, like you see below, then that's what I've got to have. Obviously, you can swap and all of this stuff. Obviously, at the same time, you want to make sure you're on the right network. Eigenlayer will be provided in EVM. So you'll have to have those tokens available on EVM. And because it's EVM, you have to have it on Ethereum mainnet. I have not tried it, but I assume you could potentially also do it on Optimism or other L2 chains. That's something that I think you guys should check out. What I will say here, though, is if I go ahead and say I'm going to sell 120 tokens to you at $825.60 total, then if the price of the token goes up to $8, so then I should be technically getting $960 versus $825. I can't just walk away because I have put $825.60 in collateral to back up my word. If I walk away, I don't get any of that. Now, obviously, if the price goes more than 2x of whatever you deposited, then of course it makes sense to break the trade. Like if you put an $825 in, and then you found out that Eigenlayer is now $20 instead on launch. So instead you should get 2,400. Great. You can have the 825. I'm going to go ahead and take all the extra juice, which is I'll get 16 or 1575 or whatever the math ends up being. So it's not to say you have to honor the contract, but obviously within a certain range, it would be stupid not to. Because if you are getting an extra dollar per token, well, you're going to give up $825 to realize that. So that's what you do, and you connect your wallet. Once you do that, you can go ahead and manage your offers in the dashboard. So when you are connected, you can go ahead, you see for markets, you see for runes, but you can go ahead and actually see whatever deals you have. So let me see if I can actually go ahead and swap out. I'll just disconnect here, and I'm going to connect to my MetaMask, and I'm going to show you here. For example, I have Eigenlayer. So I got so this is one of the wallets. I got 105 at 5.72. I put 600 collateral. I got another 178 at 677. And basically what'll happen is the moment we can transfer, there's a period of time where I will have to settle. What that means is I will have to go ahead and actually deposit tokens in here to sort of allow the transfer to happen. So I've done these trades before. There is somewhat of a small tax. It's very negligible, but obviously, once again, you want to weigh your options. So I really think this is a very interesting tool. I think it's one of the things that you should be looking at doing, because if you're not doing it, you potentially stand to lose, or not lose, but not capitalize on the money. If we were to go back in time and just take a look at pre-market and drift, right? The price of drift right now is 26 cents. But if you go back on Whales Pro, yes, there are some people buying it at 30 cents. If you go to partial, I would be surprised to see if that much. Yeah, they're literally willing to buy like 0.00099 drift. So people have come in here and sniped these, which also is another opportunity. When the market crashes, you can definitely go into here and arbitrage trade as well. So if people had bids and the thing went down 30%, 20%, go ahead and agree, buy the tokens on the other side, and then you're good to go. Do the agreement first, because otherwise if you buy on the other side, somebody else will come in and fill this bid, and there's less of this than there is the token at whatever price. Now, if you scroll down, you can actually see historicals. So if we go back just like 4 days, I was doing this earlier, right? If you go back 4 days, what you can see is, like, look at the prices you could have got for drift. Like, I saw 4 days ago, you could get like 70 cents for it. And this is why it's so important, because you can lock in the price over here, right? People were buying like 180, they were buying 3K at 70 cents. If you knew you were going to get it, you could literally just go in here, because we got the allocation given to us. So you could go in here and you could buy it. Also, you know that these things will drop. So you could almost even get to the point where you could just sell, but without even having it, right? Without even without even having a claim to it. Wait for the market to dump, buy the tokens, fulfill the order, and give it to someone else. That's another strategy. These are all the things that you could do here, right? Obviously, there's some risk when you do it, because one day, eventually, one of these tokens is not going to completely just flop. So this is pretty much the entire aspect of it. When you go in here, you can easily do the fulfillment the same way. Obviously, they are connected with the big protocols. So Eigen token, even though you have it in your wallet, you're unable to transfer it. In this case, you see here, they give you a day. So that's the other thing you need to be wary of. Just keep that in mind. Continue to check this website if you are putting money, or you're doing an agreement to a deal. If you are the seller, if you're the buyer, it doesn't matter. Like, if they don't meet it, then you get, like, I think a majority of that collateral sent to you. I think they take a small haircut of a fee as well. But hey, you got to keep that money as well. So sometimes they fumble, sometimes they're not looking. This is why it's so important to be on top of these things. You can't just put it here and hope to just check it every week. No, you got to check it every day if you are doing it in an amount that would be significant to you. I don't want to see you guys use this, sell a token, the settlement window opens up and you're not aware of that, because now you can transfer it. and you are unable to do so. So just be aware of that. Make sure that you can manage all of that and you'll be fine. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been a somewhat in-depth way of how to use whales market and the strategy behind it and how you can capitalize. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.